Morning, VC. Been quite a few weeks. As you may have heard, I did not make it up to New York for the WFMU record fair that I had planned on being at for months. Had salted away cash every week for months. My health took a dive. Let's just say that. I'm still here with you, but have some challenges ahead. We'll see how it goes. I mean, you can only go day by day here. But being gone for a few weeks, and being a record collector, it doesn't matter if you're in the hospital 3-4 times. There's still going to be records, believe it or not. I've got quite a few records here. Some of these, thanks to the wonderful gentleman that did make the trip to WFMU and made it a point to look for records for me. It meant the fucking world. And then also, I had met up with Sherv here in Charlotte. He had got stranded overnight because of a flight situation coming back from a wedding in Virginia to LA, and it was great to see him even for a short time in a lobby of a hotel, and he gave me $100 cash and said, surprise me. And I love that about Sherv, and it's something him and Jim Channel Rufus have been doing for forever. Just, if you're going to a great store, I'll send you some cash, just pick something out. Whatever you think I might like. So Alex took the reins on that, and I'm looking forward to Sherv's reaction to what Alex found, because I've seen it, and it's great shit. So I was more upset, I think, about not being able to do that, because I was going to have an all-out blast doing that. I was going to dedicate an entire day at WFMU the Sunday to just looking for stuff for Sherv. That was my goal, and as it turns out, the guys were looking on Sunday for me as well. But as far as my health, God, I think it was like the Tuesday of that week of the fair, I had chills all day at work, like full body chills, and it gets cold in the office sometimes, so I joked with my boss, I think I'm getting ill. She turned the heat on in the place, and I'm wearing like 3 jackets. I mean, and it didn't go away all day. It was kind of odd. And then that night, I had severe pain. This strangest shit. I mean, he immediately had a UTI, and I was like, I'm passing a kidney stone. That was my first reaction. Like, it's on right now. And so that went on all night. Nothing really happened, but I felt like shit and in a lot of pain. So the next day, I made a doctor's appointment for Thursday, and I called Dom, and I said, Dom, man, it's not looking good for me. I got a doctor's appointment. We'll see how it goes and what they say and what they put me on, but I'm not really feeling like getting to New York and then this get worse and you guys put me up in a hospital. So, and as it turns out, that's where I ended up multiple times. So I made the right call, pulling the plug on the trip for myself. Had a lot of pain, went to the hospital, and I had been dealing with this for months. And I'm sorry you're gonna have to hear about all this, because I gotta tell somebody. So like, I had all these procedures and they didn't find anything. Well, they do a CT and they find diverticulosis in the intestine. They find they said your symptoms sound like you have an infected prostate. So they send me off with a couple of pills, and I'm off on my way. So I start taking these pills, and another maybe day goes by, if that, and the pain hits me again and puts me in the hospital again. And this time they just put a big old shot in my arm of some kind of painkillers, like Toradol. I can't remember what it's called. 30 minutes go by, and I'm sitting there, nothing's happening. And there's a male nurse. He comes back in, and I was like, "Hey, man, you got anything else?" I mean, it didn't even put a dent. They come in, they give me oxys and something else, prescription, kick me out of the hospital. I was like, "I need to see a urologist." And they're like, "Oh, we don't have one here. We can't do a procedure here. You may need to have a procedure." So they told me, "You need to move up your I had already had a urologist appointment scheduled, but it was like not until the following Friday. I can't remember when it was, but I moved it up to an emergency visit date. And then also they said you could go to CMC Maine. They have urology there." I was like, okay. So I ended up, another night, it was horrifying. The pain was so bad I was puking. So I had to have a friend get me to CMC Maine, and they pumped me full of morphine, slapped me in a wheelchair. I think I was in the wheelchair for like, I don't know, 13 hours or something. It was a long fucking time before they even gave me a bed to do a couple of tests. Put me in an Uber and sent me home. Still, I'm not really, nothing's changed. Other than I got a morphine drip for a while. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go to this urologist appointment, and he does like two tests there. They sent my stuff off. Comes in, sits down, goes, "There's nothing I can do for you. You have this disease that there is no cure for." Very blunt about it. Very, "I need to get to my boat on Lake Norman. It's fucking Friday. Get out of my office" type approach. I'm like, what the fuck? Tells me a couple of things. Gives me one prescription, a couple of things to do. I'm in that whole deal lasted like, I was in his office a total of about 10 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? One of the tests come back, and they found red blood cells where they don't belong. They found a tubular injury with my kidney. I asked him about it on the my chart. His response was, "It could be anything realistically," and that's all he said. Motherfucker's fired. I looked this fucking guy up. He just goes on the talk shows and the TV shows and pumps Viagra and boner pills. He's a fucking drug company stooge at best. His reviews were horrifying when we started looking at him. My friend, did I tell Joe? Or I can't remember. All I know is we pretty much determined that this motherfucker isn't qualified to mop floors at goddamn Waffle House, let alone be a urologist. So he's fucking fired. So I got a new urologist from Wake Forest, older guy. Things are looking better. Sorry for all the health updates. But that's the ride I've been on. It's a for-profit business in this town. That's it. The healthcare industry. Fucking full gas station toilet, missing the handle and seat down here. So you're not here for all that. You're here for records. I've been gone a long time. There was a walk and a trip to Repo at some point. And there is a shit ton of different genres of records here. I think there's probably 28 things here you're going to see. So this is going to be a very long video. The first thing I found, Public Enemy, Hazy Shade of a Criminal. I haven't bought a rap album, or, well, this is a 12-inch, but I haven't bought anything rap-related in freaking years. But I saw this, and it's got the instrumental version of Hazy Shade of a Criminal, the LP version, and it's got Ty Goes to the Runner, which is a super dope cut. LP version, instrumental, and acapella version. Yeah, this is one of my favorite finds of the year. I'll be honest with you, it was only a few bucks. And it ain't in the best of shape. It was a DJ copy. Def Jam, God, I don't even know what, 1992? Yeah, 92. One of the most important groups of all time, period, of anything. Public Enemy. And the cover, man, I mean, that's just, wow. like the looks of these idiots. Just unbelievable, this photograph. Then I found this, and this was, I think, $14 or less. It was super cheap. It's a first pressing of Parliament Chocolate City on Casablanca. I think it was marked down because there is some coffee stains. You can see where the cup sat on the record. You know, these records got partied with back in the day. So spills were going to happen because these were just, you know, records were just sitting out on the kitchen table or the coffee table or whatever, and, you know, whatever. I think this gives it character. Very cool. Super freaking dope. I just saw P-Funk with George Clinton, so I've been picking up stuff that I don't have from them when I see it. That's absolutely dope. When I'm in Repo, I usually look at their Beatles stuff because they are one of the best shops in the country for Beatles records. There's no doubt about it. And this is one I didn't have, and it was a good price, and it's maybe a second or third press, maybe a third or something like that. I think it's a early 70s press. The Beatles Yesterday and Today. It's got that gold record award stamp on it. I've played this. I think there was only like 1 or 2 songs I didn't care for. Maybe only 1. This is really good. Pretty much all the way through. I really dug it. And the thing I really dig about the Beatles, their songs are very short. And even if there is a wanker, it ain't going to go on for 5-6 minutes. It's going to be 2 minutes and 20 seconds or something. So you're only going to get screwed over for a little bit. Everything else on this is a solid record. There's some stuff I think from Revolver on here. Yeah, I really like this. I mean, I'm not gonna ever want a Butcher cover or anything. This is all I'm ever gonna need of this record right here. This Capitol, I think it's 71. I can't remember what year it is. And then I grabbed this. I think this is I'm not sure when this was reissued, but this I think originally came out in '96 on Epitaph. Descendants, Everything Sucks. Fantastic punk band from California. Milo Ackerman's such a great front man, and Stephen Edgerton on guitar. I love his guitar sound. Yeah, 15 tracks. I'm starting to pick up any Descendants when I see it, reissue or whatever. With punk records, it doesn't really matter to me so much about finding originals, because a lot of reissues are very close in sound. Well, maybe that's because of Discord. Discord, there's really almost no difference unless they've actually remastered it between the originals and the reissues. I mean, they have a really good formula on how they do things. But this is Epitaph, and these sound good. Descendants, Everything Sucks. This was a little on the high side, but I didn't have it, and I don't like the cover at all. It's one of the worst covers I have on a record. But Midnight Band, The First Minute of a New Day, Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson. This is an original first pressing on Arista. The gatefold. Still got the original insert with the, trying to sell you some other records type thing. Just these two together are fire. I mean, anything they've done is absolutely killer. And so I haven't spun this yet. I'm sure it's phenomenal. I'm sure I've heard some of it before. But this was a really nice copy. Usually you see these beat with a lot of ring wear. This has got a little bit, you can start to tell, but this is about as nice a copy as I could find. The record is VG++. As far as To the Eye, I haven't spun that one yet. This is one I spun last evening. I finally got back to work yesterday. It took some doing. Had to get a release. but they had this. This was I think a 2013 Europe press, My Bloody Valentine. This is a fucking masterpiece. My friend Joe had played this for me a million years ago. I don't think it hit me then like it hit me now. I can hear so much influence that they had on other bands like the Life and Times. There's parts of this that the Life and Times totally rip off in their songs. Maybe it's just the influence, but goddamn, the last song on this is absolutely fucking incredible, and the first, but it's good all the way through. Sonically, this is something else, and I don't need to talk too much about it. You guys know this. Everybody knows this record. It's taken me a long time to pick up well, I had a original German press in my hands at Noble once. It was I think $125. I had a bunch of stuff I was buying that day. There was a guy that had been looking for it. I was talking with some other people in the shop that day. It was one of the big drops. Might have been the Punk drop where I bought a huge stack. And that guy wanted it. And I put it in his hand. I was like, you know what? Here you go. I can't spend another $125 today. But this is on red vinyl. And I thought it had an issue, but as it turns out, I didn't have my skating feature on my turntable set up correctly for this record. It changes from record to record sometimes because this is a thicker record. And I fixed that, and then so it plays fine. It sounds good. John Digital Gramophone has recommended a different reissue of this, which I will buy if I see it. I think he sent me a link though, but anyway. Yeah, that's fucking epic. And then this, the cover is shot, but this is one I sold in a crate of records back to the old Lunchbox location. I got $300 for the crate for everything that was in there. It was all original Pearl Jam, all original Green River, all original anything to do with Pearl Jam. So, you know, all those bands. And I had an OG of Vitalogy, which is probably my favorite Pearl Jam record. It's up there. And this was in the bin for cheap, and it's a double. And it's the 2011 reissue. There's some damage to the bottom of the cover and the side. It looks like a cat got a hold of it on the shelf. They probably didn't have it in a paper or in a plastic sleeve outer. But yeah, happy to finally have this back. I got the CD, but happy to have a vinyl copy back. This was one of my favorite records back in the 90s. Yeah, it's these 180 gram remaster, I believe. So very pleased. It's got all the inserts, you know, all the accoutrements, as Mr. Weinbender would say. And so I mean, it has this rustic look on the cover anyway, so some cover damage kind of doesn't look bad, which is odd to say, but whatever. The records are minty. I guess some lady had told Jimmy, hey, I need to make some room on the shelf, and brought her whole Pearl Jam collection in and dumped it. So that's the repo stuff. So I got one of the nights I got out of the hospital, I'm here in the bed, because there was a lot of this time during these 3 weeks. I couldn't stand very long without being in a lot of pain, and I certainly couldn't sit at all. I could only lay on my back or my right side. I couldn't lay on my left side, and I ended up passing a kidney stone, a small one. It was funny. Like, my boss called me. He's like, "Hey man, Melanie's wanting to know when you're coming back to work." And I described how my symptoms have changed. You know, how the pain keeps going lower, and he's like, William, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's a kidney stone. I've had them. Had a bunch of them. Go get you some green tea and flush it out." So this was like a 3-minute conversation with my boss from work. And he goes, "Go get you some Arizona green tea and flush it out." So I had a friend pick me up some Arizona green tea, a big thing of it with the ginseng. I drank the hell out of that for like a day and a half, flushed it out. That man did more for me in a 3-minute phone conversation than 3 trips to the fucking hospital. There were 2 doctor's visits. There was a urologist visit and a neurologist visit. Nobody fucking did shit for me. The oxys, when you take oxy, it closes your fucking throat and your nasal passages and gives you chest fucking discomfort. At least me. I thought I was fucking gonna go in the ambulance taking that oxy shit. The doctor had to take me off that shit. So the Saturday comes around, day of WFMU. I'm in town now, but I'm fucking dying. And of course, it's Noble Records' big drop of the Chris Whitson collection. I can't go up there. I can't go anywhere. I mean, I on the oxys, I couldn't drive. I had to get Ubers to appointments. All kinds of shit was going on. And Zonkman had texted me and wanted to know if John and I was going to be at Noble. And he probably didn't even know I was supposed to be going to WFMU. And John, I told him John had planned on going. He couldn't make it Saturday. He had told me a week or 2 prior. And then he was going to go Sunday. So I let Zonkman know. I said, hey, John's probably only going Sunday. And I can't go at all. But I did tell him, I said, man, if you see this blues record, freaking grab it for me. I'll wire you money. And he was kind enough to get it. Because this was the only record I really wanted to grab if I would have gone up there. And it's a reissue. And it was cheap. Pink Anderson, Carolina Bluesman, Volume 1. This is one of those, like the OJCs. This is an OBC, so Original Blues Classics. In really nice shape. And this is one of the best blues records I've ever heard. Fucking great. And I think he's from South Carolina. Just Pink Anderson on guitar and vocal. My baby left me this morning. Opener. Yeah. This is a great one. This is one that when Sherv did his big side view flip through of his blues section, which was incredible, where he's just like going through and showing you everything in there. This is one that stuck out, and I went and checked it out, and I was like, holy shit, yeah. How do I not already have this? But, Prestige Bluesville original release. And I love that they did these, like the OJCs. So there's that. And thank you to Zonkman. That was, he was able to stop by and drop it off for me, which was very kind of him. That really cheered me up. And then that day there was one mail piece, the only record I had in the mail. I had tried not to have anything in the mail with having planned to go to New York. But this came from, what's his name out in Portland? Catherine Ribeiro and Alps Liberties on Fontana original. Yeah, this is fantastic. French first pressing, kind of psyche, great singer. Look at this insert. Yeah. It's its own. They have their own sound, really. I mean, some of it's kind of weird, some of it's, I don't know. But yeah, it's on the Fontana label, and then I know Dom found one of her records from that French dealer. It was the same copy that was on Permanent that I almost bought. That they wanted 90 on there at the time. I was a little steep for me. I think he probably got a deal on that price, which is really good now that I've looked into it. But so there's this one, and that led us to I have 4 records here now, and I got 2 other things here that came in a package from Dom when he got back to Ithaca from the fair. And I really, this is absolutely remarkable how this happened. So the Friday night, that everybody got to New York Friday. There was a pre-sale at Human Head Records, which I'm sure you've heard about from Dom and Alex in their videos. There were two vendors there that Human Head had set up that were going to be at the fair. Mind Cure from Pittsburgh, which I think it's just a guy that got a hold of a serious collection and is just piecing it out. Because he's had tons of Sunrise Saturns and all kinds of rare, it's just super rare records all the time. And he puts them up for sale in this bookstore in Pittsburgh. And it's a great bookstore. I would love to visit it, but I guess it seems like his prices are all on the high side, but I get it. You know, you get a collection like that, you might as well try to get what you can out of it. And then there's another dealer, and I'm not sure who this other dealer was. I need to probably ask, but straight away, Dom found a record for me that I've been looking for since 1998. I can't believe it. Prior to me getting sick, we had exchanged a few records from our list so that if, you know, we're on day one, if we're in a bin or looking at a wall at the fair, that we could text each other, hey, I found your record. And so this was the one I told those guys I'd been looking for the longest. And Dom just pulled us straight away, mint copy, DJ Crush with Toshinori Kondo, Kyoku. This was pressed in Belgium in '98, so it's very difficult to find in the U.S. Because it wasn't pressed in Japan either. So yeah, it's a difficult record to get, and it's not cheap. And I've never found the CD either. I had a friend when it came out, bought it straight away here in Charlotte. I was living in Charlotte at the time. My friend Creel. And it was one of his favorite records. He played it for me. I loved it. I was like, oh, I'm going to pick that up. And I never found a copy anywhere. Couldn't order it anywhere. We had a media play here or something. I think that's what it was called. Couldn't get it. I just couldn't find. I've never found a copy ever. I've always looked. Anytime I go in a shop, in their CDs and anything. And I definitely wasn't going to find the record. So 25 years. And this is one I could buy it for $150 to $200 to $300 online any day of the week on Discogs. Have it shipped from God knows where. But I had always said, fuck that, I'm going to find this. Well, Dom pulled it in the first damn bin from that dealer at Human Head. Sent me a picture. I about fucking shit my pants. My trip that didn't happen was made right here. I can't believe this is here. This is DJ Crush, one of the best from back in the 90s. You know, he was at the same time as DJ Shadow was getting going. But Toshinori Kondo is a phenomenal trumpet player. This is an incredible double. Highly recommend. It's a single jacket, and the records are just not much going on with the labels, but we'll show you one. They're kind of upside down on purpose with the writing and with the track listings, which is kind of a little unique to this record. But it's in gorgeous shape. It sounds incredible. I couldn't be happier. So that was grabbed. And then I think it was Sunday at the fair. Alex sent me some video of a couple of the Brazilian bins. There was a Gilberto Gil that I would have bought, but it was $200 in VG. Hindsight, I probably should have got it, but but Brazilian records are kind of like the African records. You kind of have to get them when you see them anyway. So that's kind of a regret. But he did find this in a jazz bin at probably a different dealer, and he talked the guy down $30. Huey Simmons, or as we know as Sonny Simmons, Burning Spirits on Contemporary, and I'd been looking for this for, I don't know, 6 years. It's been on the list. It's a double, and it's Barbara Donald on trumpet, his wife on fire. This is a killer jazz record, and I love these labels, and it's in great shape, the records. The cover's not the best, but it ain't bad either. And the price is as good as you're gonna get that he got on the deal. So I was excited about Alex finding this one for me. He didn't even know that I was looking for this one. He just, yeah. So that was really cool. And then I had two major goals if I was gonna if I made the fair. One was to come back with some Unsane originals, just, you know, for the mere fact you're in New York. You know, Dom was looking for Sonic Youth. I'm looking for Unsane. Records I didn't have. And the first LP was a big one. And Dom pulled it, and it's a first US of the first self-titled album. This is on Matador. Great fucking New York hardcore. And yeah, you can't leave New York without a bloody cover. So this was huge. Again, these guys are just hitting home runs for me. I'll show you the label on this, and this is in really great. It's just, I don't know if this has been played. I mean, it's just got a little dust, and I don't see any groove wear or anything. Not a speck. I love Unsane. Real heavy, dirty vocals. Great guitars. Just a real good driving band. Heavy as shit. Some of the best music videos too. This is from 1991, I believe. And then those guys got out to a lot of shops in New York, as you saw in their videos, and there was one that Alex had turned us on to quite a while back. I think it's Ergo Records, or Ergot, I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but they got to that shop, and Dom or Alex sent me a text, said, they have this. Should we get it for you? And I said, yes. This is not the first the first pressing, I think, was a US press with a different cover. This is the second press from France of Patterns from Noah Howard. And I love this cover more than the original. And this has got that wonderful Rick Ballard Imports sticker. This is on Sun Records. Han Benink on drums. I didn't even know he was on this. Nisha Mendelberg on piano. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. Really free jazz. Noah Howard wails on the alto. He also plays some percussion. I'll show you the label on this. This was a really nice score, because records don't stick around there long. There's the Sun Records label. I only have one other record on this label. A wild electronic record that Alex turned me on to that I found at Dusty Groove. I forget the name of it. So that was my haul from WFMU, and in the package when Dom sent it, there were a couple items that Alex was going to give to me as VCLT upon arrival. One being, Sonny Simmons Live 1990 CD DVD, and I forget the story he just told me. I think something about a friend saw this show, or I can't remember, Alex, what you told me about this, but looking forward to getting into this weekend. And then this Fela in Concert DVD. Oh, hell yes. As you know, I'm a huge Fela fan. There was the year of the Fela a few years back. I was just picking up as many Cootie records as I could find. There's a good bit here. Thank you, man. That's a couple killer things. moving along because there's a lot of stuff. This is going to be probably the longest video I've ever done. Because you used to hear me talking about my prostate and shit, and passing stones. It's like fucking giving birth out of a fucking tiny hole. The following Tuesday of all madness, there was some leftover stuff, I guess, from the Chris Whitson collection at Noble. So he did his Can I Get a What? That's what I call it, the thing he does on Tuesdays. And so I went on there, and when I went on there, he put this record up as soon as I got on there. And I was late to the party. There was a pretty low bid compared to what this goes for online, so I just put the next bid in and no one bid again. So I've got it here from the collection of Chris Whitson. This is Sun Ra Nuclear War. This is what, 1982 on Y Records from the UK. And it's got Nuclear War and Sometimes I'm Happy. 12-inch. Very rare. And this is in beautiful condition. And I'm sure you've heard the story about him and the whole deal with his collection, about Dylan picking it up in Tennessee. This guy worked here at Record Exchange in Charlotte for a time. I remember him because I remember the long hair, and I remember him being very knowledgeable about all music. I used to shoot the shit with this kid. He was younger than me. And I bought a bunch of CDs from him at one of the locations here in Charlotte. I think it might have been the one on Queens. There was one on Queens and one on another street. Yeah, I think it was the one on Queens. But anyway, I didn't know his story about dying so young, and then, back then it was complete CD era. So if any records even came in there, they really almost didn't even want to put them out. I think he just took them home because he had every kind of genre, all records, it's just amazing what he had in his collection. And then I guess there's a story about him interviewing Sun Ra, and we'll get to that too. But yeah, so yeah, I'm able to finally be back at work. Thank God. Thank you, baby Jesus. And so, yeah, so I've got now a dig in at Premium Sound. I had all this money saved up from for the trip for WFMU, so I'm like, okay, I knew one record I wanted to pick up, a new release that Luke would have at Premium Sound, so we got a dig in. That record was Daniel Villarreal, Lados B, with Jeff Parker and Anna Butters. This is one of the best records I've heard come out. This was recorded in 2020 but released this year, so I don't know how to really classify it. Is it going to be for, I guess you counts for this year, but it's pretty much leftover songs from a session in 2020. This is unbelievably good playing. Percussion from Daniel Villarreal, drums, percussion. Jeff Parker, some of my favorite guitar playing from him on this, and the double bass that Anna plays is killer on some tracks on this. This is a huge recommendation on the International Anthem Recording Company label, who's pretty much become like the modern day Strata East. They don't miss. Every release is good. I have probably 20 different releases on this label, and I'd love to get more. They're not cheap, they're not overly expensive, but they do these limited releases. This one's like a smoky clear. This will be one of my top records of the year, easily. It'll be up there when I do those videos at the end of the year, if I'm not in a freaking hospital bed. This was in the new arrivals, and you'll notice by the Trail of Dead, Madonna. I've had the CD for years. I think when I first heard the Trail of Dead, I heard a later album, and it was way better produced They were on a major label by that point. Much cleaner sound. And when I started delving into their older stuff, this record, it didn't sit well with me because of the production qualities, not all that great. But seeing them live a bunch of times, probably 3 times now, they play a lot of these songs off this record, and they kill it when they do. And they're very, very good songs. And I spun this the other night, and this is a mind blower. Yeah, this has grown on me big time now. 1999, Merge Records. It might be my favorite Trail record now, because of how good these songs are. I'll show you the label. But this is an original first pressing, and it was cheap. I think it belonged to one of the guitar techs at the guitar part of the Premium Sound location, Gold Tone Guitar Shop. That's what the kid told me at the counter. And this is in great. This sounds really good on vinyl. It sounds better than the CD. So there's that. This had been in there a while. I decided to finally pick it up. Unwound Live Leaves. This is some kind of anniversary press on Numero Group. A lot of great tracks. Female drummer, she's a killer. Love the guitars. I love everything about this band. Pacific Northwest. Yeah. And that's on red vinyl. Some cool custom labels. I don't think this is any in the box sets that I have. I might have doubled up. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think it is. So I grabbed this. This wasn't cheap though, but I grabbed it. And then I saw this from a band that I've been wanting to get some stuff from. And there's a guy that works at Sorry State up in Raleigh. He's actually got the first cover art tattooed on his leg of this band, which is fucking hilarious. But it's cool cover art. This is Totalitar, and this is a comp of their stuff from 98 to 2002. Swedish hardcore punk kind of D-beat sound, I'd say. There's fucking a shit ton of tracks on here. There's like, what, 15 on one side and 13 on the other, so there's like 28 cuts on here. Really good. It's on the Scramble label. This is, I don't know what, this might even, I can't remember where this was pressed. Maybe Sweden. I'm not sure. So there's that. That was just sitting in the bin. And then this is a record Dom picked up at the fair, and this was just sitting in the bin used. Tommy McCook and the Aggravators, Bunny Lee and King Tubby present Brass Rockers. This is a Jamaican Recordings pressing, I think from the UK. But it has a Made in Germany sticker, but I think that's just for the, I think it's a UK release pressed in Germany. So that's that bad boy. So some good dub stuff here. All right, and then he had gotten a huge 7-inch collection, mostly soul and R&B. There's like 6 or 7. I think there's 7 tubs of 7 inches. I went through all of them. And I pulled 4. The first 7-inch that I found is probably one of the best and rarest that I now have. It's up there. The song is incredible. And it plays great. It was listed as VG, but it plays a little bit better than that. It's Harlem River Drive, Idle Hands, the stereo mono. So it's stereo on one side, stereo version, mono version on the other. This is a very rare 7-inch. There's only one for sale. This was not cheap. It was like $25, but there's one for sale, I think, for $180. It's the only one for sale on the internet. I was extremely stoked to find that. I've always been looking for the Harlem River Drive LP. I know Billy's Record Salon just found a copy. Very difficult record to find, and It's Bernard Purdy drums. On some of that record, I'm not sure if he's on this track or not. But this is fucking dope. Produced by Eddie Palmieri and Lockie Edwards. Absolutely crushing 7-inch. And then I found these. This is one that John 6-inch pianist and John Digital Gramophone would probably dig. And this is a really cool find. This is a white label Motown promo. It's a double A side of David Ruffin, Common Man, in beautiful condition. I played this. Really good cut. Not normally my style, but 1972 promo. Motown, I love the Motown label. I'm not leaving that behind for $2 or whatever it was. Most of the stuff was $1 or $2. And then I found Tear the Roof Off the Sucker from Parliament on Casablanca. This is not in that great a shape, but it was $1. What's on the B side? P-Funk on the B side. And then last but not least, Funkadelic, Standing on the Verge of Getting It On. This one's in better shape than the other. On the Westbound label original. First press. The Casablanca was also a first press. US. So yeah, that paid off going through those 7-inch bins. Lastly, I got some serious business here. If you saw in one of my last videos, which is now missing because I accidentally deleted it, I re-uploaded the Boris footage and Melvin's and Mr. Fly's footage, so that wouldn't be lost. But all those records I showed in that video, I don't know if I'll show them again or not, but yeah, anyway, I forget what I was talking about, but I ended up, I got a Weldon Irvine record cheap from Repo before all this crazy shit started happening, and I traded it to Dylan. So I was able to get one more record from the Chris Whitson collection here as well. That's Lightnin' Hopkins Freeform Patterns. Fantastic. This is on the Charlie R&B label. I think maybe from the UK? Not sure. But a really cool record. He tells this story about this kid that can't speak good getting served breakfast and stuff and then goes into a jam. This is a cool record, and I love the cover. Lightnin' Hopkins Freeform Patterns from the Chris Whitson collection. This I also got from Dylan. Dennis Brown, Spellbound. This is a Lovers Rock record on the Joe Gibbs Music Corp label. This is an original Jamaican. Cheap record, but the reason I got this, Willie Lindo's on guitar, who's a badass. Of course, Dennis Brown also plays guitar, but Sly and Robbie here. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. It looks like it's going to be cheesy, especially with what he's wearing, but this is killer. The first cut, especially. I'll show you that Joe Gibbs label. I think Dom just got something on this label. This was $6, I think. Spellbound, the title cut, dope as balls. All right, but that's not what I traded for. What I traded the Weldon Irvine for was this absolute gem, Sun Ra Orchestra Horizon, the 1989 hybrid press, autographed by Sun Ra on both sides of the label, and by Noel Scott, the sax player. On the original cover it came with, I've put a clean cover on it because I'll show you why. But this is a hybrid press because they ran out of labels, so they just drew over the labels, and then Sun Ra autographed it here, and then he autographed it on the other label there. But yeah, so from the Chris Whitson collection, and it sounds great. I cleaned it up. The original cover is really warped and water damaged, but it has the really cool autograph from Noel Scott where he drew his nose and the saxophone there. You know, there's the reed part. Yeah. And he put 89. So these are, he had gotten 4 records in this collection like this. This is the only one he sold. Dylan kept the other 3. I think he sold this one because he has an El Saturn of Horizon, an earlier press. But this is on El Saturn Records. It sounds incredible. This is the pinnacle of my record collection now. I mean, this is autographed twice by Sun Ra himself. And for it to be from Chris Whitson's collection is extra special. And for Dylan to have worked that trade with me is also means a lot. Yeah, I don't know what else I can really do collecting records now that I have this. This is pretty much the cherry on top. So yeah, long video, kind of like one of those, treat this like one of those live streams that I never get on. But anyway, peace.